today's video, I would like to talk about something known as narcissistic fleas. Now, where does this term come from? Well, Benjamin Franklin once said, "He that lieth down with dogs shall rise up with fleas." And what does this mean? It essentially means that you need to be really cautious of the company you keep. So if you associate with narcissists, if you spend a lot of time with narcissists, you will most likely pick up certain bad behaviors that you have learnt in that environment. Now, when you imitate somebody's behavior that has NPD, this does not mean that you develop NPD yourself. It just means that you are picking up some bad behaviors that you can be aware of and stop or change. And of course, any bad behavior that you pick up from having been around a narcissist for prolonged periods of time is, of course, destructive behavior and very counterproductive. And it generally never helps the victim in an abusive situation get their needs met. These behaviors usually result in regret because, as you very well know, you will never win with somebody who has NPD because they will constantly shift the blame onto you, because they will constantly persecute you, they will always avoid responsibility, and they never have remorse. So when an individual that is a victim to a narcissist copies some of these behaviors, it never really ends well. Now, what are some symptoms of fleas or examples of somebody displaying narcissistic fleas? So one example could be that you're normally a very submissive person, but you have started snapping and becoming really aggressive with your abuser, even resorting to actually physically hitting them. Another example is that you typically are the sort of person that generally keeps your cool, but sometimes you end up resorting to name calling and shouting at your abuser because you have reached a point where you cannot take it anymore. You have reached boiling point and you are reacting to the abuse, which is also known as reactive abuse. Another example is that you are normally quite calm when you have a disagreement, but you notice that you start doing things that are passive-aggressive, such as destroying the abuser's belongings, for instance, or causing problems for them at work. So any sort of passive-aggressive behavior is an example of having caught the fleas. When you have actually caught fleas from a narcissist, and let's not forget, this could be a parent, this could be a partner, this could be any family member, you usually will resort to performing certain maladaptive coping strategies, and you may start doing similar things to what the narcissist is doing to you. But you will always regret this in the end. It will never feel good to do the same things to the narcissist that they have done to you. If you are doing things in this relationship with a narcissist that you are not feeling proud of, then take a step back and have a look at what's going on. Try not to fight fire with fire, especially with a person who is abusing you, because you will feel twice the heat when they react to your actions. Don't use their poor choices as a justification for making bad choices of your own. If you are somebody who is worried that you have picked up narcissistic traits from your narcissistic parent or partner, please don't worry. The fact that you are even considering this, the fact that you're even worried about this, shows that you are not a narcissist because you are practicing self-awareness. Narcissists don't usually like being self-aware. If you have picked up certain bad behaviors that you learnt in your childhood, for instance, from your narcissistic parents, one of these examples could be that your parent always lied about things. So this has become something that you have learned to do as well. So you also find yourself lying to people. Now, if you were to self-reflect on that, you would realize that you're doing this because this is something that you saw modeled in your childhood, right? But the difference between you and a narcissist is that you can self-reflect, and you will probably feel guilty when you lie. And this will be a behavior that you want to correct. The same applies to any other behavior that you pick up. The problem is, however, that if you are not aware that you are doing this, you are not going to change it. So it does help have somebody point it out to you. And in most cases, this will be a very close friend or a partner that you are currently with that will notice these fleas, these behaviors, and will bring your attention to them. The difference between a healthy individual and a narcissist is that a healthy individual can do a lot of things that are morally wrong, but they will feel guilt and they will feel remorse for the things that they have done, which later means that they will change this behavior. A narcissist, on the other hand, doesn't change the behavior, and they continue acting in the same way, harming people, hurting people, lying, manipulating, gaslighting, controlling, without even thinking for a second that they have done anything wrong. Please remember that if you have picked up any sort of toxic or dysfunctional behavior from your family, from your partner, know that you can change this, that you are in control of changing your behavior and acting in a better way. Sometimes it's the utter desperation of being in a relationship with somebody who is sending you crazy, and you will end up lashing out as well. You will end up doing something that isn't in your character to do. But know that this is only because you've been pushed to your absolute limit. It doesn't mean that you are a narcissist. It doesn't mean that you are going to hurt people in the same way that the narcissist has. If you can self-reflect and correct any bad behaviors, then you don't have to worry about anything. So having a case of fleas means that you may do bad things, but you are still a good person. And if you still have empathy, if you still feel guilt for doing these bad things, if you're still able to self-reflect, if you're still able to feel remorse, then you are not a narcissist. You just have a case of fleas. I hope you found today's video useful. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.